Every year in the NFL, it's a new team. As far as goals go, we have one. Putting a f***ing ring on our finger.
Welcome to the Buccaneers Observer Podcast. This is Ralph Phillips.
I'm Molly Bay.
Today is December 31st, last day of 2020. It's kind of weird.
Oh my gosh. 2022.
2022. So I'm still stuck in Super Bowl year. The good days. Back in the good days when we had
the good old days.
The pandemics and the riots and all kinds of fun stuff.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
You got any New Year's resolutions?
Yes.
What is it?
Read more.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm going to lose 50 pounds.
You're going to lose 25 pounds any day now. In case you don't know, Molly's pregnant. She's due January 3rd, which is Tuesday. So I told her, that's fine. Just do not have the baby tomorrow. It can happen at any time now. But you can't have it tomorrow.
Anytime.
It's a big game tomorrow.
So
Carolina Panthers.
I might be having a baby by myself.
Yes.
We'll see.
Yes. Tell it I said hi. All right, man. We got a lot to talk about. Big show, because there's a big game. Big game tomorrow.
Our biggest game of the year.
Biggest game of the year by far. Playoffs start tomorrow for the Buccaneers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm nervous.
I'm very nervous.
Biggest game that we've had.
Very nervous.
Yeah, I'm like excited, nervous. You look like not excited, nervous, just nervous.
Yeah,
nervous.
No, I'm nervous that we're going to lose.
Always the pessimist, Ralph.
I know. That's how I work.
It's fun for you.
It is fun. It makes the top of the mountain better, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When you start off real low.
Yeah, if you expect it, just not as enjoyable, I guess. All right, so want to discuss the Arizona game a little bit. It's going to tie into the Panthers game a lot. If you're not aware, Leonard Fournette tweeted out that to his haters, he was getting a lot of crap, and he said that he was dealing with a Liz Frank injury. His foot, it's broken bones in your foot, basically. Mm-hmm. That could explain a little bit about our running game, but I don't know how much of it was true, if he was just talking crap, but he ended up deleting it later.
Well, I think he had to, because the team, he wasn't on injury reports for it.
Right. Yeah.
So that's Tom Brady, was it in 2020 where he had the torn MCL? Mm-hmm. That he was him and Alex Guerrero were apparently just taping before games and never told the coaching staff. If they report it to the coaching staff has to put them on the injury report. And so, Tom Brady hid it the whole time. So he was never on injury report. Of course, Mike Florio had a freaking cow about it. But that's how it works in the NFL. So for Fournette to then come out and, tweet it very publicly for the whole NFL world to see, not great. So
yeah, I remember when Sean Payton had a hissy fit because, was it Josh Freeman? There was a picture with him.
He had a press conference where his finger was taped.
Right.
And he was not on the injury report.
Yeah, and Sean Payton, a little tattletale. Speaking of which, people are talking about Sean Payton might become the Buccaneers head coach.
I doubt
he's on the list. Yeah.
I don't think so.
I doubt it either. Although Derek Carr will probably become our quarterback.
If we lose Brady.
Yeah, if we lose Brady.
Which Brady is a free agent this year.
And I bet the Glazers are looking well, it won't be that bad if we lose Brady now, because we can get Carr.
He apparently has unfollowed the Raiders' social media and stuff.
They're done. I mean,
which is a shame. He's since Gruden was there, he has kind of gotten the short end of the stick. Mm-hmm. I think from the Raiders.
Well, you knew it was going to happen with Gruden, because Gruden don't like anybody to be bigger than Gruden. And Derek Carr has started 98 games in a row. He's got the longest active streak behind Tom Brady for quarterbacks. And, for them to bench him. It's kind of like what they did with Eli Manning.
Oh, yeah, and he lost his streak.
Yeah, just lost his streak because they were being jerks. And
for one game, Yeah, that was messed up with Eli.
That was real messed up.
I can see the justification for Carr because if he gets hurt the last 2 games, you got to pay him
because
next year.
Right, he just signed that big extension and everything. But basically what they're saying is we don't want you next year.
Yeah, see, I don't understand that part of it.
Me neither.
But I understand if you're not sure if that's your guy, that you wouldn't want to gamble like that.
Right.
I don't understand why he's not your guy.
Because, they're still in the playoff hunt. There's a possibility they could get in there. A lot of things have to go their way, but, they're quitting. They're giving up, and they're telling Carr they don't want to have anything to do with him. Devontae Adams is pissed. Because that's the whole reason why he came to Oakland.
Yeah.
So if we get Carr, which I guarantee you the Glazers are working on that right now, Devontae Adams will probably come with him.
You are putting the cart before the horse, sir.
That's what we do here.
This season, you're like, it's over. This is over.
Well, if you saw
the season is over. We're losing Brady. Golly day.
No, with the Carolina game, we could beat them. There's no doubt in that. They are not a better team than us. There's no doubt about that. I think they're a crappy team, to be honest with you. They've won against crappy opponents, but then again, we've lost against crappy opponents. So, and they've lost against some of the same crappy opponents we have. Pittsburgh beat them. I think they've lost to Atlanta one time, or did they? I can't remember. But they really haven't beaten anybody. They beat Detroit last week or the week before. Mm-hmm. Was that last week?
Last week.
Yeah, and Detroit, the defense is nothing to write home about.
Yeah, they had like a record rushing day against Detroit. They had 320 yards rushing.
Yeah, which Detroit's not known as a powerhouse defense over there, and they were going on that streak. Detroit had that streak that they were hot on, and things just didn't work out for them and whatever. But it's not like they were beating a playoff contender. They did.
No, they are playoff contenders.
Yeah, as much, but then again,
as much as the Panthers are.
Yeah, I'm talking about an elite level team.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, because everybody's a playoff contender. Well, there's only like 9 teams that aren't.
Yeah,
the playoff run-ins. That's quite amazing. And what is it? The AFC South? They're all just like the NFC South. They're all under 500. Mm-hmm. It's just a weird year, man.
I know the Jags are leading that division.
The division, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So the Arizona game, got finished watching the All 22, and again, man, this team is just bipolar. We looked good, we really did, but at the same time, we didn't. It's just weird. It was just kind of like undisciplined. It was more like I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it.
Is it like a preseason game? Would you call it like a preseason game?
No, we were really stout against them. It jumped out real quick on film that we were the much better team. But things would just happen. It's kind of like they got lucky or not lucky. Yeah, they kind of got lucky. A lot of plays. I pointed one play out on the Tiffy video where one of Tom Brady's interceptions, he threw it. It was a great read. It was a great route. Everything was good. But the defender just happened to turn his head around right as soon as the ball left his hand. And he was like, "Oh, the ball's coming this way, so I'm just going to jump up and catch it." Yeah, it was stuff like that. But we did have a lot of breakdowns, which we've been having all year long, like special teams, Camarda, kicking one way and the guys running the other. There's obviously miscommunication in our special teams with that. The Tompkins letting the ball bounce before he catches it, or just letting it bounce and letting it roll, which he did in this game. He'd let it bounce twice, I think, and it cost us. There was one time he could have caught it on the 20 with nobody around him for 10 yards and probably got an extra 5 yards. So he would have got it on the 25. But instead, he let it bounce and then got out of the way of it, and they ended up getting it on the 9.
Okay, what's worse? Tompkins letting it bounce or Jalen Darden running parallels?
Oof, man. That's a tough one.
I mean, like, what? And it's kind of the same flip side of the same coin. It's that you're giving them time to get down there.
Yes.
You know, I mean, that extra bounce, you know, that's 2-3 seconds. It's hanging in the air. Mm-hmm. You don't have it. You're not running. They're running towards you.
Yes. And you're losing that running up and catching the ball, which is usually about 5 or 10 yards before the bounce. Mm-hmm. So that's really annoying. And the one, he did it on a kickoff, and it was a bad kickoff. So it was short, and he let it bounce, and he ended up, you know, he could have run up to like the 25, or no, it was about the 10, which is short for a kickoff. Mm-hmm. You know, but he didn't. He let it bounce, and it came to it. And, you know, I'm just screaming at the screen. You know, I'm like, stop doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you give them an extra 10 yards that way.
Yes. We had instances, there was, I think, 5 or 6 times where I counted our tight ends blocking J.J. Watt.
Oh, my God, why?
I know. J.J. Watt was just destroying everybody. He went down the line and just beat everybody on our line. And then when Wells got hurt, he went and beat his replacement. I mean, it was almost like he had a goal in his head. You know, he's like, I'm going to beat every single offensive lineman here. And
you know, he's always kind of annoyed me because I feel like he's one of those players that's really a lot of talk. He talks a lot, and is always injured.
Yeah.
So he's never there.
Yeah.
But he talks a lot about being there.
When he plays, he plays very well.
Okay.
You know, so when we had actual designed plays for our tight ends to block J.J. Watt. One time, Brady almost got killed by it because we had Cameron Brate blocking him, and J.J. Watt basically just picked Brate up and carried him. But Brady was able to get the ball out real quick. If you remember the game, he was getting that ball out quick. A little too quick a lot of times because our protection did well. Besides J.J. Watt, they did a very good job. And towards the end of the game, you could tell J.J. Watt was tired from just beating our guys up. And we actually started getting the best of him. Leverett threw him to the ground one time. Wirfs grabbed him by the collar and threw him away from the play about 10 yards. So he became a non-factor later in the game. Mm-hmm. But it was still, I'm sitting there, I'm like, you know, we talk about this all the time, you know, tight ends blocking elite edge rushers. That one was just blow my mind. Why would you have tight ends, K. Otten, Cameron Brate, and
here's the thing though, with the the outside linebackers, I can kind of see where sometimes there might be a size, like a comparable size. Like, I wouldn't think twice about like Gronk lining up like against like a Shaq Barrett size outside linebacker.
Yes.
Which
Gronk was great at stopping defensive ends and outside linebackers because most of them were about his size.
Yeah. So occasionally I'm okay with it.
Mm.
But in general, but not like a J.J. Watt size.
I know.
Like, what are you doing? Like, that is just a non-starter. Unless you're going to put like 2 on him.
Yeah, right.
Like at once.
Right. Yeah, and a lot of times we would do that. We would have the tight end over there who's assigned to block J.J. Watt, and then we would run in that direction. And it would just be disastrous.
Why?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. It was stuff like that during this whole game that you're just like, what?
It's like putting Vita Vea in coverage. I'm just like, what are you doing?
Yes. You drop Vita Vea back in coverage is just, I get it that you want to be tricky, but that's just totally dead. The guy, I'm serious. Literally, I have never seen him jump, and I've seen him jump a lot higher than 6 inches.
He's got these little tiny legs.
He's
legs. All torso.
All torso. You know, he's made to go forward, not up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Too much gravity on this earth for him. But the Arizona Cardinals are very tricky. They were very fun to watch, actually. It was they were kind of like the Kansas City Chiefs, the New York Jets, last year's New York Jets. I haven't really watched.
Which kind of makes sense because, they have Kyler Murray, who's kind of a Pat Mahomes, like not the Pat Mahomes, but
he's the new Brock Purdy.
Right.
But it was fun to watch because I never knew what they were going to do. Even though I'd seen the game, you look at the lineup and you're like, what are they going to do? And they were constantly doing tricky stuff. And our defense was falling for it a lot, which is very unusual for us. Now, Anthony Nelson is not Shaq Barrett by any stretch of the imagination. But
which is so disappointing because he was so efficient last year when he was there on rotation. Mm-hmm. He had fantastic numbers.
Right.
And he was very impactful with the snaps that he got.
Yes.
But this year, now that he's getting the starting snap, I mean, some players just are not made for starting.
Or, it depends on what they're trying to tell him to do. They might be telling him, hey, just, set the outside edge. Don't worry about rushing or whatever. If they're telling him to set the outside edge, he's totally screwing that up. Because like I say, he falls for the trick plays constantly.
Okay, so if you were to say, all right, here's what they're telling Anthony Nelson to do. Like, what is he doing well, would you say? Or successfully at this point?
Dropping back in coverage when he does. They actually drop him back in coverage quite a bit.
He's got that length.
Yeah, he's got that length. But he's not even using that. Remember, last year, past few years, he's great at batting balls down. He hasn't done that at all. He's getting this starting opportunity, and he's definitely not taking advantage of it. Him and Tryon played every single snap. They have the past. Well, Tryon played every single snap last week and every single snap this week, which is extremely rare. Bowles never does that because Bowles is really big into rotating guys and keeping them fresh.
Everyone's been injured.
Yes,
those are only two guys we have.
This is true. Well, no, we got O'Connor, who he got some snaps this week for a change, but it was in overtime. It was the only time he saw the field, other than special teams. I don't know why they're not putting him out there in rotation. It's very strange. But normally Levante David, Devin White, and our outside corners, and if Winfield's in, Winfield will probably. He'll play 100% of the snaps every now and then, but he's been injured so much lately that this year he really hasn't. So our outside corners, when it's Jamel Dean and Davis, they play 100% of the snaps. Devin White and Levante David play 100% of the snaps. Everybody else is rotated throughout the whole game. But in the past couple of weeks, Tryon's been out there every single snap, which is very strange. And he's not doing anything. He's totally – I'm going to say this. Our whole defensive front is just a non-factor, man. We get no push up the middle. We get no pressure.
We're not stopping the run.
Yeah, just not. Hicks had a couple of good plays stopping the run. I mean, they do all right stopping the run, but not like they have been in years past, man.
Yeah, we're not top five.
Yeah, not even close. I think we're like middle of the pack, maybe down in the 20s. But we're just not disciplined in a lot of aspects, but still at the same time, man, we look good, but we'll just break down every now and then. It was like the Carolina game we're going to talk about here. That was a big factor in that game. We had McCullum, who was in for injured Davis, and he just screwed up a lot in that game, and they took advantage of it. So we had breakdowns like that all over that game, and they were just able to capitalize on it. And that's kind of what happened in the Arizona game. But then again, they did some good plays, and we did good plays to counter them, but they just came out on top sometimes. We really should have beat them a lot better, a lot more than we did. It should have gone into overtime. But we got things on offense like our running backs. We've complained about this all year. They're not beating that one guy, And I honestly think, this is just pure speculation on my part, that the Bowles has changed the offense because he really wants he said this when he got the coaching job. He wants it to be a running team. He wants us to run more because he wants time of possession because he's kind of tired of his defense being tired all the time. Because even when we were scoring a lot of points for the past few years, our offense is getting out there and going boom, 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 right down the field. Defense is having to get back out there.
Which, I don't disagree with him.
Right. Yeah, and I'd love to see a good running team. I love running.
But not, I think, at the expense
of scoring.
Of your, scoring, but like your powerhouse offense with your stud receivers and your, elite the best quarterback that's ever been.
Yep. Yes. And, that's one of the reasons why we're doing all these screen plays and short passes at the line of scrimmage, and these dump offs, because Todd Bowles, and he said this a couple weeks ago in a press conference, that those plays are an extension of the run game. And he wants the offense to have a lot of time of possession and wear out the opposing defense and give our defense a break. He's a defensive-minded coach, so that's the way he's thinking. So he's got our running game is not designed to gain yardage. It's designed to wear out the defense. And you can see it with these guys, both Fournette and Rashad. Rashad not as much, but Fournette will target guys. He will go straight for them. Instead of trying to get around guys, he will go straight at them and try and run them over.
Which was fine earlier in the season, I thought, because he was successful at it. Yeah. But he has not been. Well,
I think we're measuring success in a different way I think Bowles and them. And it's probably one of the reasons why our hurry-up offense is working so good at the end of games is because the defense is tired from having to stop these running backs just hitting them and hitting them and hitting them. I don't think Todd Bowles cares if we get 1 yard, 2 yard, 3 yard. He's just slam that run. Go. We're not looking for holes. We're looking to hit guys. Because that's what I'm seeing on film. It's like if they've got a choice between going through a big hole or a little hole where they can hit some guys, they're going through the little hole. And if they have one guy that they got to beat, they're going straight at him. They're going to run him over. They're going to make him pay. So that's just what I'm seeing. And that's pure speculation on my part. But I think that's what we're doing is we're trying to, keep the game close, wear out their defense, time of possession, and, put the ball in Brady's hands at the end. So I don't know.
I think that's an interesting take, and
I don't think it's working.
It's not working. Yeah, exactly. Well,
it's kind of like Bowles. We got rid of JPP, we got rid of Ndamukong Suh, and Bowles' reason for that was because we want more speed. Mm-hmm. That's not working either.
It's not working.
Logan has been a ghost. He's done nothing all year. I watch him out there. He's just a guy. He's not doing anything. He's not beating anybody. He's not getting around anybody. He's not getting in on tackles. He's usually, 5 yards away from the play, getting pushed around. He's just not doing anything. It's nothing. And, Nacho's not doing a whole lot. Golston's not doing a whole lot. Golston's good at the run, stopping, but, you're not going to get, he's not a speed guy. He's not going to speed rush the quarterback. And neither is Nacho. So we're not getting what Bowles wants on either side of the ball, I feel. But then again, you go to Tom Brady. There's definitely, Tom Brady has taken a huge step down. In this game, he made so many bad decisions. It was just, I'm starting to worry about the guy. The Cincinnati game, he cost us that game just with his bad decisions. It kind of reminds me of Jameis Winston here. And he did that in this game, too. Now, he'll throw some great stuff, just like Jameis Winston, man. Jameis Winston could, throw some tight window coverage balls and, some monster passes downfield. But then he would just make dumb decisions. And Tom Brady's kind of fallen in that habit, it seems like. There was 1 3rd and 2 where he threw it to Mike Evans, and the defender was, like, right there. It was a really, really, really bad decision. And it would have been a pick six if the guy didn't know how to catch the ball because it went right in his hands. And I was seeing that all over the field. And plus, it seems like Brady's a little hesitant to throw. He's getting the ball out quick, But when he's got open guys, he's waiting a split second. It's very strange. It's almost like he's scared of turnovers now, which is causing more turnovers. And he's hesitant to throw downfield. I don't think he has the trust. That's kind of gone out the window. So, and missed tackles in this game. Missed tackles, I think I counted 10. That's what we got to stop doing that. That was one of the issues with the Carolina game. Week 7 was missed tackles.
I was just going to say that. We can't do that this week.
We've only had one real good game. That was against Seattle, where we had no missed tackles. Against Arizona, I would say easily 100 of their yards were due to us missed tackles. Easy.
Wow.
And, the Carolina game, week 7, almost all their big runs were missed tackles. Mm-hmm. They had that one big 60-yard run. Mm-hmm. That was all because Devin White and McCullum knocked each other off of the tackle.
Oh, my gosh.
The safety, I think it was Edwards, missed the tackle. It was just... So we got to... And if we were just more disciplined in all areas, it's just... It's not horrendous. It's just here, a little bit here, a little bit there. And if we... And that's why I say I think the big issue is coaching, because those are all... It's endemic across the whole team. Mm-hmm. The special teams, you're kicking the wrong way. You're letting the ball bounce when you're receiving it. Defense, you're missing tackles every now and then in key situations. Mm-hmm. We're getting key penalties and key times. We're not getting a ton of penalties. We're just getting penalties at the wrong time.
Yeah, it seems like it's very little things that are correctable.
Yes,
that are not being corrected.
Yes, I agree. Which that's why I go, it's the coach.
Yeah.
It's got to be. If it was just one unit, then you could say, okay, we need to work on that. Special teams, we work on that. But it's everybody.
Gosh, and how long would it even take for that kind of stuff? 2-3 weeks, I think, you turn it around.
Well,
had we focused on it, I don't know, the first half of the season,
right?
We would be in a very different position than we are now.
Yes. And, it's not like these guys can't do it because they've been doing it. Mm-hmm. It's just this year, something has happened to where those little things have been lost. Don't know what it is, but you got to lay that at the coach's feet. You just have to. You can't. There's nowhere else to go with it.
I think those things that would have ended up on the accountability sheets that BA had.
Yeah, right. But yes, let's talk about accountability a little bit. One of the things with Bruce Arians, and he talked about this all the time. I don't know if we covered this in a previous podcast, but he wrote it in his book even. I mean, he's a steadfast believer in injuries do not save your job. You get injured, it's next man up, and he's going to take your job. And he talks about, I can't remember the guy's name, but it was in baseball.
Because it's not important. No one cares.
That's the point.
No one knows his name.
Right. It was the guy, he was like the home run leader and all this good stuff. And then he got hurt and he couldn't play. They was it Hank Aaron? Was it Hank Aaron?
I thought it was Babe Ruth, but it might have been
Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron, some name he got put in the lineup and it was on from there. It just went crazy. And that other guy you never heard of again.
I think he had migraines or something. Yeah.
And, Arians is a big believer in that. He's like, if you can't get out on field and the guy that comes in and replaces you plays as well, I'm going to keep him out there because he's not hurt and he's not going to get hurt. And if he gets hurt, then you can get your job back. But, he was a huge believer in that. We don't have that now. We've got the whole defense. Everybody is hurt every week. You've got Nassib isn't playing. He's got a chance to be a starter now, and he, for the first time in his career, and he's out. He doesn't play because he's injured. Vita Vea's not playing because of a calf injury. Mm-hmm. How many times has Davis been out? Winfield.
The whole secondary, and it's not just this year. It's been for the past 3 years, I would say.
Yeah, true enough. But, I feel like injuries have really creeped into this team. I mean, look at our offensive line. Look at the issues we've had with the wide receivers. Julio Jones and Rudolph, and it's just injuries are everywhere. Mm-hmm. And I think I think a accountability for injuries is needed. I mean, we've got 5 doctors on staff. We've got more money put into physical therapy than any team in the league. And I don't know, man. It's not working because we got injuries all over the place. When you've got Tom Brady, who's 45 years old and gets hit every game out there playing with busted thumbs, busted shoulders, busted knees, when we had Ndamukong Suh, who never missed a game due to injury. Mm-hmm. We had JPP out there who was playing with a broken neck, half a hand, a torn rotator cuff. I mean, he could barely move. He's out there, limping along. And when you got guys like that, it says something to the rest of the team. It's like, but where are they now? Tom Brady's the only one.
Lenny.
Yeah, Lenny.
If
he is hurt. But he's never out for injury. It just seems like everybody's just taking games off. It's like, oh, I've got this, so I'm not going to play this week. I mean, this is a big game. This is our season. Mm-hmm. This game. I don't think anybody should. I mean, if you're out now, you better be because of broken bones. And even then, it depends on what bone. Well,
thankfully, Todd Bowles is saying everybody's kind of a game time decision. Right. So they're not ruled out yet.
Yes. We'll see.
I think that's a good sign.
Right. We'll see on game day who doesn't decide to play or who says they're not going to play or whatever. And then we'll carry on this discussion. But I just don't like it. I just don't like I'm from the old school where that's part of football is you play through injuries.
Everyone does. I mean,
not on this team, it seems like.
Yeah. Well, I think it's the younger generations coming in. I think it's the young guys. Like the secondary in particular.
Yeah, good.
I would say anyone drafted within like the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Although you do have Akeem Hicks.
Right.
Prone to injury.
Yeah. So he's always out there fighting. That's something about the past couple of games. Cincinnati game, there was hardly any pushing and shoving and getting up in each other's faces or real aggressive. It just wasn't a physical game. It was very strange. And this game was kind of like that too. We were aggressive in a few times where we'd get up in people's faces, but they were just kind of like, meh. Yeah.
They're not interested.
Yeah, not a very physical game. And definitely not a crap talking in your face, pushing and shoving. I think there was like 1 or 2 instances, which is very strange. It's very, very unusual.
I think the Carolina game should be different.
I think the Carolina game is going to be a knockdown, tooth chipping, bloody nose.
It better be. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so Arizona, it was fun to watch on all 22. It was an interesting game to watch. Much more interesting than it was on the broadcast. It's so fascinating at the difference in games you get watching the all 22 because you don't have any of the excitement. There's none of the announcers, the crowd noise, the replays. It's just straight, plays, and it's very antiseptic. You don't get the sideline shots, and you don't get the close-up shots of players and their emotions and all that. So it's a totally different game. A lot of times I'll put music on and I'll just sit there and watch it. So you get a whole different game every time. And this game was much more interesting in the all 22 than it was on the broadcast. It was actually a very entertaining all 22 game. It was kind of a chess match. So there was that. A couple of things. We've heard the whole Tony Romo, what was it, the Cincinnati game, where he was talking about the play action and the pre-snap movement. I did a whole video last year about how he was just full of crap with the pre-snap movement. We do a lot of pre-snap movement. As a matter of fact, in this game, in the Arizona game, we got I don't know if you remember, it was like a 3rd and 2. We were in the 10-yard line, and we got the illegal formation penalty. Yeah, that was because of pre-snap movement. Mm-hmm. Kate Otten came running.
Mm-hmm. He didn't set, right?
No, he did, and the receivers moved back, but Hainsey snapped the ball too quick. Nobody was ready. I don't know why Hainsey did. I think what happened, because what he was doing in this, Tom Brady was lifting his foot up real quick and real, not real high like you see him do a lot of times. It was just like a quick step, and Hainsey would snap it immediately. But what happened is Kate Otten ran by about the time Hainsey was looking between his legs, and I think he saw the shadow of Otten's foot or something, and he thought, oh, crap, did I just miss Brady lifting his foot? So he snapped it. And Brady wasn't ready for it. It hit him right in the chest. Oh, no. Yeah, he bobbled it. He was like, oh, crap. So, there's cons to everything, and there's cons to pre-snap motion, because you get shit like that. But play action, that one just, I do not understand. Everybody's going crazy over it. Scott Smith from Buccaneers.com wrote a long article about it. And, we talked about it in the last podcast, how there's a lot of cons to play action. And I'm going to do a video on this just to show, and I'm going to use this game specifically because there was 3 times where we did play action, and 1, there was an interception, and 2, Brady got clobbered because of a free man coming through, and he didn't see him until he turned around after the play action. As a matter of fact, one of the interceptions he threw, the Mike Evans down the field, that he got hit, that was due to play action.
I wonder if did Tony Romo use a lot of play action? Like, I just feel like it was his style. Like, he likes play action, so everyone needs more play action.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know.
I'd like to look at his numbers.
Yeah. I think it's the silliest thing. With the team the way it is, and we've talked about this, you can pick out any bugaboo you don't like. If you don't like the offensive line, you can blame them. If you don't like the secondary, you can blame them. If you don't like Tom Brady, you can blame them. If you don't like the coaches, you can blame them. You can blame anybody with this mess because everybody's screwing up, And I think that, people have just picked play action. The people that like to focus on scheme. Yes.
The clipboard carriers.
It's the pre-snap movement and the play action.
Pro Football Focus says.
Yes. Another interesting thing about the Arizona game is Merrill Jadafar. Did I say it right?
No, I don't think
I never did. I'll butcher that now. I'll butcher everybody's name. She was way down at the end of the bench, at the end of where the players stand. They got the white box. They got to stay in that area. She was like all the way down there the whole game. It was very strange. Not like hanging out with the coaches or anything.
Yeah, that's unusual because she's always behind the head coach usually.
She was with the Arians. She hasn't been as much with him. She's with Bowles. She's normally been behind, I want to say Larry Foote.
Okay.
She was actually, I don't know if she was the get back coach one day, but I saw her a couple times. She was grabbing him when players were coming. She was pulling on him to get back. So I found that strange. And she seemed very not as exciting. Normally she's very excitable.
Yeah, like more reserved.
Yeah. She did, though, when Mike Evans caught that out route that got us in field goal range in overtime. The whole bench caught out and came over, and she was over there screaming. Yeah, it was pretty
crazy.
Yeah. So that was the Arizona game, and it kind of ties into the Panthers game, because in the Panthers game, I felt like this was week 7 when we played them first, and they beat us 21-3. But I think we went into halftime zip, right? I think that they might have scored a touchdown right before halftime. So I can't remember. But it was the whole first half was really just punts.
Yeah, it was like a back and forth. It was close.
Right. And that was a couple of weeks after Devin White's father had gotten arrested. We had played the Atlanta Falcons, and that's when I noticed that Devin White was not playing well at all. And I thought maybe he was injured. That continued into the Carolina game, and that was a big factor in why we didn't play good, because Devin White was just not into it. He was making a lot of mistakes. And that's where this all ties in with the Arizona game. I mean, we were a much better team. And when we were playing on point, we just clobbered. They couldn't do anything, And they had a couple of plays where they did really good and we did really good, but it just worked out for them. So there was nobody to blame. There was no mistakes. It was just they came out on top.
Went their way.
Yes, it just went their way that time. But most of the time, it was just us playing really good, disciplined football, and we just stopped them. It was just like bam, bam, bam. And when we did that, man, we made them look silly. But then when we would have those breakdowns, they would take advantage of it and score or, get big gains and stuff like that. And that's the same thing that happened with Carolina. Same thing. And it was mainly Devin White and McCollum. McCollum, it was his first time ever starting. He's a rookie, and he was out there and he just, he made a lot of mistakes. And
they pick on him.
Yes, they picked on him. They were passing in his direction. They were running in his direction. And, we had breakdowns on his side of the field. And they took advantage of that. I honestly think that if we play just don't make mistakes, we're going to beat the hell out of them. I want to see our offense be more vertical. I really think we should get away from the, just trying to matriculate down the field. Just get back to the vertical stuff. I like it. Everybody likes it. We were killing it the past couple years with that. Hell, no, we've been killing it for 6 years with that.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And, Mike, he needs his, 83 yards.
Mike Evans needs 83 yards.
To get 1,000.
So he's going to be chunking it to Mike.
What is his 8th?
Ninth.
Yeah. No. 9th?
Pretty sure.
Okay.
He tied the record at 7. He beat the record last year with 8. So this is 9. No. Pretty sure.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
In the first matchup against Carolina, he did have 96 yards. So it was a good game for him. So let's do it again. I want to see him do it this game because there's always going to be the asterisk with these seasons after now we're at an 18-game season versus
that's right.
Our 18-week, 17 games.
Good point.
So I would like to see him do it the 17th game.
Yes, good point.
Or 16th game.
Good point. Yeah, I'd like to see him do it because if we do win, then we're probably not going to play our starters next week. And who knows if he would get it. He needs to get it. We need to put everything on the line tomorrow. Everything.
Exactly. Like, this is the game. Like, this is our season.
Yes.
We lock in the playoffs with a win. We're not necessarily out of the playoffs if we lose, though.
Right. Yeah. Things have to go our way, but we won't have control.
Help. Yeah. But I don't want to do it that way. I want to beat the crap out of the Panthers.
Yes.
I want revenge.
Yes.
And I want to seal our own fate.
Yes. 100%. Plus, I want to beat the Panthers, like you said. That's the main goal. I just want to beat them. Don't like them. They're enemies. I want to beat them.
I have a family member that is a Panthers fan who's been calling me, talking about, we can go to playoffs doing this and that, and I just want to dash their dreams.
Yes, and plus we live in Panther territory now. Yeah. Haven't
seen many Panther fans.
None.
I saw one at the Walmart with a Panther mask. That was it. That's the only one I've seen.
I haven't seen any Panthers gear at all.
No.
So, with the win last week 7, they had just fired their coach, Rule. So the new head coach, they had just gotten rid of McCaffrey. So, we were didn't know what to expect. We had McCollum in, which they took advantage of, which was very smart of them, I thought. We had Goedeke. The Goedeke experiment was still going on. And I don't care what anybody says. Leverett is an awesome guard. We saw a poll. You sent it to me.
Oh my
asking,
God.
Yeah,
if Ryan Jensen comes back at center or when Ryan Jensen comes back at center. Who do you want to see at left guard? Leverett or Hainsey? And Hainsey was winning the poll. And I'm like, what is wrong with you people?
That was very strange.
I was like, okay, who even asked that question to begin with? Like, it's not even a question to me.
Leverett does not get the props he deserves, man. I like him for a number of reasons. I mean, he's not the best guard in the business. He's probably, he's not Ali Marpet level, but he's got a lot of qualities better than Ali Marpet. Like, one, that guy is constantly looking for work. He does not stand still. If he doesn't have somebody to block, he's going to turn around and block whoever's closest to him. Mm-hmm. And he's helped Donovan Smith out a lot. He's got so much energy. He's got pretty good feet. But I mean, he's got energy. He runs down the field. He congratulates guys. He jumps up and down. He's got a lot of positive energy. He does all the pulling, man. I mean, he's constantly pulling and running, doing run blocking down the field at the screens and all that good stuff. And plus, he will get up in your face. He's got some of that Jensen in him. Mm-hmm. Like I said, he threw J.J. Watt to the ground. He's the only offensive lineman that was able to do it. And it was a legit one. He wasn't grabbing or holding anything like that. He just got him at a good angle and threw him to the ground. It was on a run play, too. We ran right at Watt. I don't know what that was.
I'd like to see Jensen and Leverett side by side.
Yes.
Really fun.
But after he did it, he walked over and stood over J.J. Watt. And he was just standing there looking down at him. And he's done that a lot this year where he likes to be out there and dominate guys. Mm-hmm. And that's what you want from your offensive lineman. So I'm very, very happy with Leverett. And it's one of those things that makes me really question coaching. The coaching, I'm like, why in the world did we have Goedeke in there when we had Leverett, who could have been?
I think it was the injury thing. I think we were so thin at center. They were worried, we needed that extra depth.
Yes.
That would be my guess.
Right. So with the Carolina game, we had an unknown. We had no film on what the coaching staff was going to put out there. Mm-hmm. We had no idea what they were going to do at running back, because they just got rid of McCaffrey. We had a rookie in one of the most complex defenses in the NFL playing in place of our best cornerback. Devin White was going through some issues and not playing very well. Evans, had that drop touchdown at the beginning of the game that was just like, what?
Oh, that momentum sucker.
Yes.
I forgot about that.
Yes. The tackling was poor at times. And we made a lot of mistakes on, penalties at crucial times. We had, there was a 3rd and 2 in the red zone. Donovan Smith got a false start. There was the running into the kicker in the 4th quarter when we were trying to make a comeback. They gave them the ball, and they were able to run out the clock and all that good stuff. So,
we also saw P.J. Walker.
Yes.
Which we have seen him before the year prior, but
they had switched from Mayfield to P.J. Walker. Mm-hmm. Yes. So there was a lot going on in this game that caught us off guard, and we were still trying to figure things out with Goedeke and McCollum, and like I said, with White. Now I think we're a much more solid team in those aspects. The things that hurt us in that game. Yeah. Devin White's back doing good stuff. I think even McCollum, even if he does play because Davis is on the injury report, he's a much better cornerback now. Goedeke's not in there. We got Leverett. So, I think if we just play our football, even if we do the matriculating down the field stuff, I think we'll win. But I want to just crush them. I want 50 points, man. 50-3. No, I want a shutout.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about their run game?
Their run game?
Yeah.
It's all right. I'm not that impressed with it, to be honest with you. I don't know. They got good yardage of us in that game, but the vast majority of it was due to poor tackling and screw ups. run fits.
Mm-hmm.
McCollum just didn't know what he was doing out there. He would not set the edge he was supposed to, and he'd end up running over where the linebackers were at, the middle linebackers, and the whole right side would be open, and they'd just run in that direction. Oh, yeah. I'm not that impressed with their run game.
Okay. So you want to do score predictions?
Yes. Let me write this down.
Okay, and let me just run through the injury report real quick while you're doing that. So Carlton Davis, his is a shoulder injury, did not participate. He's doubtful, but not ruled out.
He's doubtful?
He's doubtful.
Come on, man. This is the game of the year.
I know. Carl Nassib with the pec, he was limited. I keep pointing out all the body parts.
You got to point to each body part after you say it or while you say it. That's hilarious.
Okay. He's also doubtful, Carl Nassib. Jamel Dean has a toe injury. He's been limited. Everyone else is like questionable or just not even on there. Mike Edwards with a hamstring. He was limited. Julio Jones with the knee. Donovan Smith with the foot. He's been limited. He's questionable, so that's good. Vita with a calf. And Winfield with the ankle. It was an ankle.
Was it concussion?
It was not concussion related. I thought it was concussion related.
Yeah, and we don't know how much of this, I'm talking crap like it's the players doing it, but we don't know how much of it is the medical staff saying, you can't play today.
Yeah.
I don't want to make it, yeah.
We recommend you rest it. We recommend you don't practice or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I think that the coaches, too, err on the side of whatever the medical staff is saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a bad thing to do,
Mm-hmm.
But
well, it takes the liability off of the coaches to where, like, a player could be like, oh, he pressured me to play when I was injured or whatever.
Yeah. No, I think it should be up to the players,
Okay, Tom Brady got a rest day.
He got arrested.
Stop it. Levante.
Oh, speaking of which, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you again, but Blaine Gabbert.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations with him.
Okay, we'll talk about that.
Oh, okay.
Let me finish.
We'll talk about that in a second.
We'll run through this real quick and then we'll. Speaking of arrested, Blaine Gabbert.
That's what made me think about it.
Levante had a rest day. Akeem Hicks had a rest day. Anthony Nelson was out due to illness. So that sucks. But he was back. That was just Wednesday. Nacho had a personal issue, which kept him out of practice Wednesday and Thursday. And then he was back Friday. So
he's out dropping dogs off in the middle of the street.
K. Dotton had a quad. He was limited. And then I didn't point at it, my quad this time. Tristan Wirfs had the ankle and he was limited Wednesday and Thursday, but was back on Friday. And Carolina's injury report is significantly shorter, which this annoys me too. I feel like this time of year, a lot of guys get hurt. And I'm not saying this is necessarily the case with the Buccaneers, but if your team is not going to go that far, I think a lot of guys get hurt.
Like the Rams.
So, yeah.
Everybody on that team.
Everybody. Cooper Kupp, Matt Stafford, there's a list.
Aaron Donald. They're all hurt. Magical.
So, yeah. So, to preserve their health, I think, because it's a losing season. Like, why get hurt? Why put yourself out there? So anyway, Carolina Panthers, they've got J.C. Horn, their corner, has a wrist injury. He is out.
Oh, he is out.
He's out.
Oh, that's good. I mean, he's their best corner. So
okay.
Mike's gonna have a big day.
Marquise Haynes Sr. had an ankle injury. He's questionable. He's a defensive end. Guard Cade Mays. What's that name? Has a knee injury. He was limited Friday. Is questionable. And then tight end Tommy Tremble has a hip injury, and so is questionable. And then Shi Smith, their receiver, he was limited Wednesday with a foot injury. And then Steven Sullivan, tight end, has an ankle. And Shaq Thompson has a hammy. But those three are fine to play.
Yeah, so if you haven't heard, a helicopter crashed down in Tampa in the water, and Blaine Gabbert just happened to be out there in his jet ski.
With a couple other people.
With his brothers, right?
Yeah.
Apparently he's got two brothers.
Mm-hmm.
They were out jet skiing. They were at a yacht club, and they left, and on their way back, they noticed a helicopter had crashed in the water, and they went over there and saved everybody. It was a family, a mother, father, and older son. I think he was in his 30s, I think, and the pilot. They didn't save the pilot. Apparently, the police, the ocean rescue or whoever they are, it wasn't the Coast Guard. That was weird. But they ended up rescuing they got there right after Blaine Gabbert did.
Okay.
But anyhow, they had this big ceremony at the press conference, the Buccaneers press conference yesterday, which this happened the day before yesterday. And they gave him, there was the police chief was there and the water people. And then who was that other dude? The small guy.
I don't know. And they got all these departments.
Yeah, all these departments were there and gave him
the
awards.
Marine unit.
Yeah.
Whatever.
He's an honorary member of something now.
He got a hat and a coin.
Yeah, coin, yeah. So, it was just pretty cool. And he was
cool.
real humble about it, too.
He said he wanted to stay anonymous. He didn't want to.
Yeah. Yeah, he said he took him up to the shore and then left. He didn't hang out and he didn't want anybody to know who he was or anything.
How'd they know who he was?
Well, apparently they did exchange information.
Oh, gotcha.
Or something, and he took off shortly thereafter. So that was
a cool story.
Yeah, cool Buccaneers story. You've got backup quarterbacks saving people. Mm-hmm. Most other teams, their players are out drunk driving and stuff. Mm-hmm. Our team is so awesome that we save lives.
They rescue people on their time off.
All right, you got anything else?
Are we going to do scores?
Oh, yeah. I'm going 34-10. I don't have confidence that that's going to happen. This is really me wishing. I wanted it. It can happen. There's no doubt about it. But I've picked 34 points 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times this year, and we haven't even broke 30 all year, I don't think. No, we broke 30 one time. No, twice. Okay. No, wait. No, I don't think we broke 30 all year. Anyhow.
That's crazy.
That's what I'm going with. 34 points. Dang it.
Okay, I'm going to go with 26.
Who? Bucs?
Bucs. 26 to 24.
Now, I'll tell you, me and Molly have been horribly off all year long. I think we've got one game where we came close. Maybe it was the Seattle game. But, this team is bipolar, man. They look good at times. They look like crap at other times and everything. And if they could just play, if they could put 3 quarters together. Mm-hmm. You don't even have to do 4. Just 3 quarters, please.
Play to your potential.
Someday. We'll win this. But if we put 4 quarters together, we'll slaughter them. Because they're not a good team. And, if we played just mistake-free football, we'll beat them. If we just get out there, play solid. But I really want to. But they're going to be out there. They've got a chance at playoffs now. They got a chance at, if they win this, they're going to win a division most likely. And, it's they're going to be out. They're out for blood. And we're going to see tomorrow when these two teams play who wants it more. That's what this is going to be all about. And who wants their coach to keep their job?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if the Panthers coach, if they win this, he'll be the coach next year.
Mm-hmm.
If Bowles loses this, there's a good chance he will not be the coach next year.
You think so?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Yes, I do. I mean,
I don't think
the Glazers will take a crap ton of heat for it, you know, because they didn't give him enough time and the diversity hires, all that good stuff. But, you know, Glazers, they do things that shock people. You know, as much expectations as everybody had going into this year, and it's quite obvious that coaching has not been near the level. I think it's the main factor. I know it's not the only factor, but it's the main factor as to why expectations haven't been met. You know, and he came in with a losing record as a coach. The only reason why he got this job is because Arians basically
gave it to him.
Forced him on, you know, on the Glazers. So I think there's a huge possibility if we don't win this game tomorrow and we don't make the playoffs, which if we don't win this game tomorrow, it's going to be very hard for us to get in.
Yeah.
Then, I think Todd Bowles will be going.
I don't see that. I don't think that's going to happen. BA is going into the Ring of Honor.
Oh, that's right. He's going into the Ring of Honor tomorrow, too. So we've got everything.
So we need to. This is an important game.
Yes, this is at RJS. It's at home. We got Bruce Arians going in. This is for all the marbles. This is for the NFC South title, basically. Whoever wins this is probably going into the playoffs. Everybody else is going home. Then this is a big game. Big game. So we're going to see who wants it more.
It's going to be the Bucs. We got this.
We got this. I sure hope so, man.
Yeah, if there's anything Tom Brady knows how to do, it's get into the playoffs.
Yeah. And win in the playoffs.
Win.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so there you got it, guys. We're going to knock out the Panthers tomorrow. Change their kitty litter right in their face.
You know what we missed talking about that I just want to acknowledge real quick? That we missed it. Is the whole media kerfuffle with Gio Bernard.
Yeah.
Somebody brought that up. Very disappointed. It's very unlike us, too.
Yes.
Not address that. It was second on Ralph's list. It was on my list, too, but we just ran our mouths too long.
Yes. We'll get to that, you know, because I've got a lot to say about that, as y'all know. So.
It's been quite a while since we did any media bash.
Yeah, you know, I just, just focused on other stuff. We have a lot of stuff on our plate right now. That we're not trying to use excuses, but there's a lot going on with our lives. All right, that's going to wrap it up for us, guys. Everybody think positive tomorrow. I believe in the power of positive thinking. So, everybody, we're going to win. We're going to do this. So, until next time.
Go Bucs.